Our next guest is an award-winning author whose new novel, her fifth, Kin, was published last week. Please welcome back to the show, Tayari Jones, everybody. Welcome back, my friend. How are you?
I'm feeling good.
I'm glad. It's 8 years to the month you were last with us.
Has it been 8 years?
Isn't that something?
It took me a long time.
Well, you got to work and you finished this wonderful novel, but I also read that this was not the novel you set out to write.
Well, that's why it took me 8 years.
Yeah, I would say.
I had a contract to write an entirely different novel. It was supposed to be like a modern novel, hip, about Atlanta and gentrification, but like my students would say, like the book was not booking.
Yeah.
I was trying to write it. It was a good idea. It felt like I was like on a blind date with a good idea.
Yeah.
But there was no chemistry.
Sure.
And so what am I gonna do? Like, I've accepted this contract, I've accepted this advance, I have spent this advance.
Yes. The advance is gone.
So I just took out a notebook and a pencil, not even like a pencil like that, like not even a pen. And I just started scribbling around just to see what was in my mind.
Now, so what happened then? Like, when did this come out? Did it turn out it was in your mind the whole time?
I don't know if it was in my mind the whole time,
Yeah.
but it had arrived. And I was writing, and I started writing about these two best friends, but they were living in the 1950s. And I thought, well, that's weird because I believe myself to contain multitudes.
Yeah.
But I do not believe myself to contain a historical novel. But there it was. And I thought, well, maybe these are my characters' parents. And after I got about, 150 pages in, I had to accept that it wasn't backstory, but it was the story.
Now, do you think it does at least help to start writing one that's not working to help shake out one that is?
I mean, it worked for me. I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah.
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 That is not my new process.
When you told them, hey, that thing I said I was going to write and you gave me money for it and I spent that money, I have a different thing. Like, how long did it take them to embrace that the new idea was the better idea?
Oh, I didn't tell them. I just kind of like gave it to them and like ran out the room. I figured they would realize it.
Yeah. Well, that's very helpful. I feel like if they're good at what they do, like, I mean, they just want a good book.
I guess so, but I was nervous. You know, it was like almost like they had, ordered the salmon and I gave them the steak.
Yeah. Although the thing is, at least then you know right away, they were probably like 200 pages in being like, I don't think this is salmon. So you mentioned your two characters, Vernice and Annie. Later in the book, they start writing letters to one another. We talked about last time you were here, we talked about you as a letter writer and how you were writing 5 to 6 letters a week. And how people were not actually, you weren't getting a lot of return on your efforts.
Not even from my own mother.
Unbelievable.
I know.
So you were just basically writing letters, which receiving a letter is such an incredible gift, but you were basically just doing it for yourself at that point.
Well, I get some back.
Yeah.
A few.
Yeah.
On my birthday.
Do you still do it? Do you still do 5 or 6 a week?
I do.
That's
I do.
Wonderful.
I have faith in people.
And do you write, is it the same? They're very happy with it. They're all hoping they're gonna get a letter one day. Do you write to the same people or do you just sort of write to new people?
I write to the same people, but also, I belong to like pen pal societies.
Right.
And so I write to strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well then,
I write to you.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's weird, like 8 years in, you write to strangers and I'm nothing.
No, I got you.
You're a college professor.
I am.
And you mentioned your students, the book wasn't booking. Do you take wisdom from them? Is being around younger writers helpful to you as you are to them?
I feel like my students really keep me honest. Like there was a time when I couldn't get a contract for a book and I wanted to cast it aside, but I tell the students, you write the book your heart calls you to write. So I could not discard my own project and face them. So I feel like they keep me young. But I don't mean in terms of all the slang and vernacular they have. I feel like they keep me idealistic.
That's a very nice thing to be kept.
So far, so good.
Yeah. You're going on a book tour. I think 24 cities to talk about this book. Do you enjoy going to readings, being around the people who engage with your work?
I do. I feel like I'm so lucky that my books are read by really cool people
Oh, that's great.
for the most part.
Yeah. Did you used to, in your early days of going out on the road, doing things like book festivals, did you have trepidation about the travel?
I didn't have trepidation, but I probably should have.
Okay.
One time, I got kidnapped in Martha's Vineyard.
You got kidnapped
Well-
in Martha's Vineyard?
Yes, well, it's hard. You know, it's an island. You
Yeah.
can only get so far.
Right.
But this woman, she had on a T-shirt from the festival, and she said to me, "I'm the one that's taking you to lunch."
Okay.
I got in her car,
Uh-huh.
fastened myself into the car, and she took off in the opposite direction of where we were supposed to be going.
Uh-huh.
And she started telling me how like she had all these challenges in her life because of her fervent devotion to me.
Uh-oh.
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah.
And so that's when I knew something was weird.
Right. Were
And-
you worried that you'd accidentally written her a letter?
But she took me to a restaurant.
Okay.
And I sat next to her, and she started ordering like lobster, this like seafood type, lobster, crab, oyster, bottles of Dom Perignon.
Wow.
It was really weird, and I was like, I really have to go. And she says, well, you can go, but leave your purse. And I was like, I really need my purse. So I sat there until she drank the whole bottle by herself. I took just one sip, just one
Yeah,
sip.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't want to, alert her that I was alerted.
Yeah.
And then finally I said, I need my purse. I have to go put on lipstick. So she let me have my purse. And then I went in the kitchen of the restaurant and I said, excuse me, y'all, I've been kidnapped. And they said, there's a door over there.
Yeah.
And so I just went out the door.
Unbelievable.
It was raining. I went to it's Martha's Vineyard. I went to a hotel and waited 45 minutes for a cab.
Now that is crazy because I do feel like the kitchen staff might have been like, you're not kidnapped.
I was
I know, but they're watching you eat lobster and champagne
against my will.
against your will.
Yes.
But you do appreciate that as far as like kidnappings go, you ended up in like the top tranche of... Did you share with family that you had been kidnapped?
I didn't want my mama to worry.
Yeah. Right.
Then she knows now because she's watching.
Yeah. Well, I think enough time has passed. Did you ever see your abductor ever again?
I did not, but I did take her picture.
Oh, that's good.
I said, let's get a selfie, just in case,
Yeah.
for evidence.
Oh, that's good evidence. Like, by the way, hopefully, like the lobster wasn't in the background because when you bring that to the police, they're like, "Ma'am, this is not a kidnapping."
But fair enough. But,
Yeah. I'm glad you escaped.
And, I feel, my sister said, only you would get kidnapped and force-fed lobster.
Hey, congratulations on the new book. It's so
Thank you.
lovely to have you back. Sarah Jones, everyone. Kin's available now wherever you buy your books. Stick around. We'll be right back.